Hey, Guru Nation, how's it going? Let's get the branding up here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Let me know. Mic check. Mic check, mic check. I think you guys can hear me. So, hey, thank you so much. It's been a busy day at the clinic. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to chat, engage. Tell me what you're thankful for, what you're grateful for in clinical research in your life. Bodie, my American Bulldog, might join me. Uh, he's a good guard dog, very good guard dog. So this, been getting a lot of questions. Always this time of the year. I've been doing this now for 12, 12 years, maybe going on 13. Thank you, Courtney, for the closed caption. Um, we try. So I want to give a shout out first of all before we start anything. And by the way, put your questions, comments, anything you want to discuss down here. I got a little bit of time to hang out, but thank you to my sponsor Viva for sponsoring the podcast. It really means a lot to me. It takes a lot to support this kind of content on a daily basis. So Viva, through their site vault, is making life easier for sites for free with no contracts needed whatsoever, and you could passively share your regulatory documents with your sponsors. Over 450 sponsors use Viva. Give it a try. You can also, once you join SiteVault as a site for free, you get added to their list where sponsors who are already on Viva, which is, by the way, most of them, if we start counting their sales, like pharmaceutical sponsors on the sales side, Viva actually powers their whole sales team for the most part, like all the tech. So when it comes to research, 450 plus sponsors are using it. Once your site joins for free, you get added to the list. Sponsors could theoretically see which sites are using Viva. So thank you to the sponsor Viva. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Hasmug, how's it going? Nicole, thank you so much for watching it. Uh, let's see, Rania, trying to get CRA job, but apparently my experience doesn't work with it. I'm a medical lab scientist, which involves lab work. You know, this lab stuff, there's something here because it's more of a circuitous path. So it's not that common to go from lab or bench research to clinical research by way of CRA right away. Most people that I know who have done this have gone this route from bench research to clinical research through in-house CRA or remote site monitor or study startup specialist or feasibility assistant, something else besides CRA. CRA is definitely not something that you want to try without experience on the clinical side, right? Like, we can barely have coordinators who have 2 years of experience. We barely feel comfortable giving coordinators with 2 years of experience CRA responsibility because it's a tough job. And at the end of the day, you are the last line of defense for patients, basically for sites, either site negligence or site non-compliance or just site errors. You as a CRA are the last line of defense for safety for that patient. We don't think about that often. So, Rania, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Try the in-house CRA route. Study startup specialist, remote site monitor, something along those lines. Rod Raphael, happy Thanksgiving. It hasn't been that long since we've done our live together, so thank you. Ellen Bedenko, oh my gosh, it's been like, what, a year now? No, we've done our podcast this year. Do a lot of large academic institutions use Viva? Yes, actually. A lot of them do. Um, there's the same benefits for large AMCs as for small sites to use it. It's really that seamless sharing of information, regulatory information, from your electronic investigator site file to sponsors trial master file it seamlessly integrates. Once you're using it and your content is on there as far as your regulatory documents, it could be shared with the sponsor if you want it to be shared. David, thank you. Your videos are inspiring. I have a master's in public health and a PhD, looking to set my foot into clinical research. You can do it. There's so many people with that background that are in this industry. So the industry needs you, David. Just do what you can to get in. Whatever job you get first job in clinical research, take it. Because with your qualifications, you'll level up soon. Here we got Parima say, hey, she's working at in Canada at a CRO. Here's Ellen's giving advice. Ellen, by the way, you guys need to connect with Ellen, right? She's got so much knowledge. We got to do a part two, Ellen. She's saying try to find an opportunity that is looking for lab experience. For example, biobanking studies. Yes, there's a lot of these kind of studies. I actually just turned down one of these studies. Is it difficult? So Dr. Sarwar says, is it difficult to move to manager position without being CRA? Is it possible to become manager working as CTA or any non-traveling position? No. Project manager, I'm guessing, because clinical trial manager, I I think it's possible as well. CTM route. It's just many CTMs were CRAs, but I bet you many CTMs, I can't really think off the top of my head right now, but I bet you many CTMs were also project managers in the past. So yeah, once you get into like a position of managing others, right? Even like feasibility manager, study startup manager, you can transition. Those are transferable skills. Do those positions have part-time positions or no? Yes, but for the most part, everything in our industry is full-time. It's not even enough to have full-time. Umar says, hey, we just started a new CRO with the aim that studies should be done where the patients are. What a concept. So, so yes, this is what we should be doing as a CRO. The problem is with the decentralized model, who has those patients' trust? How are those patients getting in studies? Because I agree, we need to do more research in the communities where those patients actually live. And a lot of research is still done in big metropolitan centers, right? And the surrounding suburbs. But when you get out into the boonies or the the exurbs, basically where I live, or just in between large metro, like Yuma, Arizona, for example, it's an underserved community. It's equally distant for 2 hours and a half from San Diego, 2 hours and a half from Phoenix. We're really in the middle of the desert, right by the Mexican border, right by the Arizona California border. It's underserved. Before I came out here, the only group doing research here was the hospital, and they were just doing oncology research. So now we're bringing outpatient opportunities to the community. We've been having tremendous success. So we do need more studies in the communities where the patients are. I mean, I was joking earlier, like what a concept, because it's common sense, but it's a lot harder to actually pull off. So hats off to you, Dr. Hayat. Um, Here's Ellen still giving love to people. Yes, let's do the part two. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, Dr. Fox. Happy Thanksgiving, man. I can't wait for your viral video going tomorrow on, I don't know what, I don't want to give away. So everybody check out Dr. Fox's profile for tomorrow. Hamid, how's it going? Happy Thanksgiving, all. It's tough to the chief if you've never been a soldier. It's tough to be the chief if you've never been a soldier. Absolutely. Um, yes. So this is a transferable skill that's hard, really hard to fake, right? But it's one that's really easy to transfer from other industries, and it's management, it's leadership. So this is why it's easier for project managers from outside of clinical research to bring their transferable skills to clinical research because they're essentially what a project manager does. I mean, yes, they have to know the fundamentals of research, of course, But what they're doing is managing the project. It's exactly what it sounds like, managing the project, managing other people, keeping all the stakeholders happy. These are transferable skills. These are soft skills. These are organizational skills as well. So, a combination of hard and soft skills that you can easily bring from another industry to clinical research. Whereas CRA, it's a lot tougher because CRA, you're in the trenches. Coordinator, you're in the trenches. So it's harder. Yes, there still are plenty of transferable skills from CRA to or from other roles to CRA. We've had example Samantha Anderson, who's um, been on the podcast so many times. Um, uh, this person's texting me. See, the industry's getting super busy. Um, okay, so yeah, transferable skills from one industry to clinical research, you can make the argument for anything really, but for project management, it's probably the easiest one. And then once you're a PM, you can become a lot of things in clinical research. You can go from PM to CRA, you can go from PM to clinical trial manager. You can go from PM to at a CRO or sponsor to PM at a site, which then you can become site director or you can go to coordinator. You can develop a generalist skill set. And that's really one of the things that we need more of in this industry, actually. So today, what we did at the clinic, we have a new study starting up. We just got initiated about a month ago, and we're finally been given the green light to screen. And shout out to our social media guy, Luis, out here in Yuma. He's doing the bilingual English Instagram and Facebook post, Spanish Instagram and Facebook post. We haven't even started investing in the actual content creation, like the way I want it to be done, where we go out in the community and interview people and just create a resource for the community. Not even about research, just for the community. Create more content for Yuma and tie in research just subtly. Like, hey, we do research, multi-therapeutic. We have a lot of studies. Reach out if interested. We haven't even done that yet. My goal is for January of next year to start doing that. I want to do it the right way too, meaning actually invest like real time and resources into it, not just doing it to check a box. Right now, the way we're doing it is we're doing it to check a box. Like I hired this guy, Luis, and a few times a week he posts on Instagram and Facebook in English and Spanish. To be honest with you, I'm not doing much with it, but we've already gotten leads. We have two screenings starting. We have two screenings for this brand new study next week, and they are both from social media. We haven't even tapped into our provider network yet, which I just did actually today. So today what we did, because Monday we have our first screening for this new study, today what we did, me, Desiree, and Katie, the two coordinators, we made sure we had access to all the vendors. There's a lot. There's a lot of vendor. There's at least 8 vendors, more if you count the IRB and our own vendors like eSource and eReg, like Viva. Um, more vendors if you count that. But just to like figure out, okay, what's the URL for this? Do you have access to this, Desiree? Okay, good. As long as one of us have access. Do you have access to this, Katie? Okay, good. Well, it turns out all of us are missing access to the IRT, which is really the only way you can officially register a patient to screen them. We can still screen them without it, but they're not officially registered in the study until you put them in the IRT. So we sent an email. I know it's like the day before Thanksgiving, but we sent an email to the in-house CRA that, hey, you know what? Monday we have a screening, so you have, I know tomorrow's a holiday. Hopefully somebody works Friday to give us this access to the IRT. If not, hopefully because you guys are on the East Coast, you'll have time Monday morning to give us access before we wake up, before our patient comes. Like, and if we wouldn't have done this practice, this dry run today, we would have discovered this day of screening, and it would have been a bigger problem. So always, like when it's a new study at the site level, do a dry run, right? Do a practice, like pretend the patient's here. I'm also excited about Monday is going to be the first time we're gonna unlock informed consent, electronic informed consent for our site. So we're most of the day was spent by Desiree on this particular task, configuring the e-consent, and it seems like it's going to work. We did a test, we did test runs, make sure it's going to work. Luckily for that, if it doesn't work or we have hiccups, we do have paper. We can fall back to the paper option, unlike the IRT. So always prepare. I read the lab manual to make sure. Okay, do I need to buy dry ice for Monday or not? Looks like I don't. So we're ready. We're ready as we could be, but the point is, do these dry runs. These dry runs are really important for new studies. New studies, no matter how complex or how simple you think this study is, when it's a new study, a lot of things can go wrong. Our last study that we just ended enrollment on is a perfect example. When we first got it, we were a rescue site for that study. We were able to randomize. By the time our randomization's over, we'll have randomized 9. We should have randomized 10. We kind of screwed up once. That's another topic for another day. We're going to have 9 patients, and enrollment for us was from June till November. So June, July, August, September, October, no, 6 months. We should have enrolled 10 patients. We had 9. Not bad, considering we have brand new staff and me doing like a dozen other things at the same time as running a site. This study we can do a lot better. The staff is more experienced. It's a slightly easier study, but using that study as an example, the first few screenings on that study when it was new, it took us like 4 or 5 hours. Now, we just did our last screening last week. It took us an hour and a half, and that's when the patient talks a lot. Could have it under an hour. So you get better the more you do something. But starting out, when a study's brand new, it's a lot more complex than you think, and the potential for error is a lot greater. So take it slow, do a dry run, make sure you understand as much of the protocol as you can before the study. Don't try to learn the protocol the day of the study. All right. I know people watching are saying, well, don't you get trained on the protocol at SIV? Yeah, but who remembers all this? Right? We're not robots yet. The industry hasn't shifted to robots. Lydia, happy Thanksgiving, Dan. I took your advice, took a break from my master's, got back into the workplace, and went from coordinator to manager in under a year. Lydia, thank you for sharing. I would love to interview you on this exact topic because I think um, so many people are in the same situation. Ellen, I think the new PMs without clinical research experience or a solid post-grad certificate or master's program are at a huge disadvantage and are likely to burn out very fast. Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah, there's no replacement for clinical research experience. But what I'm saying is, I think it's the easiest role to transition into from outside of research. Going the project manager assistant route first in research. So you could be like a PM at a banking company. If you're willing to transition, if you want to transition to research and you're willing to take a PM associate position, so like an assistant to the PM, which does come with a pay cut, it is a much easier, smoother transition because then you can learn the fundamentals under an experienced clinical research PM, which you already know how to do their job as a PM. You just don't know the fundamentals of research and the little nuances and intricacies of all the problems that are happening. Any more questions, guys? I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Again, thank you to Viva sponsoring this. Just wanted to go live. And Friday, I'm not working Friday. Well, by email I am, but the site's closed. Our PI's office is actually closed. Like, there's no patients, there's no medical assistants. The medical assistant, you know what's interesting? The medical assistants, they're not my employees. They're the medical assistants that work for my PIs. Some of them are slowly starting to get involved in clinical research out of necessity. So maybe I'll end with this topic. When a community clinician starts doing research in their office, even if they partner with someone like me who knows what they're doing and are bringing in their own staff to run the research. So on paper, the research is separate from the PI's private practice, which is exactly our setup. But life and work doesn't happen on paper. I know all the MAs at this office. We talk, we joke. We haven't started hanging out outside of work yet, but that's ultimately going to come. I mean, it's just they're coworkers at this point, even though I have Yuma Clinical Trials and they have their own private practice. So you start getting studies where they require blinded and unblinded staff. So we just got a study, which we're going to hopefully start screening in January, where they require an unblinded pharmacist. And this pharmacist can be anyone. Doesn't actually have to be a pharmacist. It could be anyone the PI delegates to prepare. It's really easy. It takes like 30 seconds. Prepare the IP and then mask it so that we, the coordinators and the PI, can't tell what the IP is, because supposedly the IP is such that it would be obvious if you can see. So they have somebody, only one person who's going to be completely unblinded. So this person, I asked my PI, I said, hey, who can we assign? Like my NP, we can make my NP do this, but then he can't do anything else. Jaime Valles. And my PI said, no, we'll use one of the MAs. So then I talked to that MA, and the MA is going to learn clinical research now. So it happens by accident to you guys. We're going to get to more questions right now. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm a newcomer to research. Welcome. You helped me navigate into the field. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know this. It's an honor. I became a CSA at a biotech. Curious your thoughts on next steps, not so much the CTA route. Clinical trial administrator. CSA. So, I mean, you can do anything. You can do pharmacovigilance, you can do monitoring, you can do site selection, you can do project management, you can do clinical trial management. I'm guessing you don't want to do clinical trial administration, which at your company might be clinical trial management. I would get yourself as involved as you can with either regulatory or the actual operations of the study, like the nitty gritty. Maybe you're the one interacting with sites, or maybe you're the one interacting with the CRAs, or maybe you're the one handling the regulatory, or both, because those are transferable should your biotech go belly up, or maybe you just don't like it, or maybe they get acquired and you're like, you know what, this new management, I don't like it, I'm going to move on. Your transferable skills are now no longer unique to just your company, because maybe your company put you in a spot where the responsibilities are very unique just for your organization. Try to make yourself more of a generalist so that you have job security. But it sounds like you're on the right track anyways. And to answer your question, you can do it all. You can do it all. Let's get to some of these other ones. Wow, got a bunch of questions like all of a sudden. Okay, here we go. Lisa, how's it going? Do you have any thoughts on transitioning from more academic human subject research to clinical trials research? Thank you. always posting insightful videos. Yes, the faster you can get out of that and into industry-sponsored trials, the better. Even if it means taking a pay cut. You guys know my thoughts on working at AMCs, despite many watching right now and many that I've interviewed that do well. Um, you can actually transition within your own organization to human research trials, as opposed to the grant type of studies, where those are still human trials, but those are grants versus the more traditional, like industry sponsored, where you, the AMC, is not writing and applying for a grant to do a research unique to your site. You are applying for studies that Yuma Clinical Trials is applying for. So those are industry sponsored trials. So try to do it first within your organization if you like it, but also don't dismiss switching out altogether to private industry and away from academia. It depends. Not all AMCs are built the same. I know people that are very happy with some, and I know people that are just completely fed up with others. Do you recommend CPI certification? Depends for what. Generally, no. Generally, the only certifications certified PI by ACRP. Yes. Yes. CCRC, CPI, and certified CRA, I guess. If you're going to make it your life's career to be a PI, yes. If you are a site owner that is also a PI, yes. If you're a site owner that is considering, should my staff get CCRC certified? Yes, it does help. Do you need it to advance in the industry? No. I don't have any certifications. I've considered it, but I didn't know which one to do because ACRP had like more of this generalist one, like certified clinical research professional. Um, but I just never got around to finishing the application process. I didn't feel like I needed it. Plus, in my business, like I'm not the commodity. I'm not selling it because of me. I'm selling it for our patient database, for our PIs, for our coordinators. For them, it makes more sense to get these kind of certifications. But I don't push them to do it. I offer it to them. Like for example, Desiree and Katie, when they're able to qualify for the CCRC, which I think is like 2 years of experience before you can even qualify for it, I'm gonna let them know, hey, I'm happy to pay for your CCRC certification with ACRP if you want it, but don't feel like you have to. And they probably will, knowing them. Okay, here's the one. So I skipped some, so sorry. I got this one, newcomer. Ellen, thank you for helping me out here. What has been your best marketing strategy to get subjects from the community as opposed to subjects referred by your PI? So far, my so far my only strategy has been Instagram and Facebook. That's it. I hired a guy, English and Spanish, who understands research, and I tell him, hey, focus on these studies. Don't get study specific, but I want you to post a few times a week about rosacea. We had one about osteoarthritis, and now with diabetes type 2. So that's plenty. That's the studies we've had so far. That's plenty of content you can create without getting study specific whatsoever. So you don't need that, bypasses all this IRB nonsense. We just put like, did you know, like stats about diabetes, stats about osteoarthritis, and at the end say we have studies, which is true. We have multiple studies now in those indications. Here's our website or text, and the text goes to one of our phone numbers. We got 2 leads so far last week, which are turning into 2 screenings. I don't know if they're going to actually qualify, but they're coming in. What I'm going to do in the future is really invest, future meaning January, so only a few months from now, into creating videos on YouTube, just like I'm doing now. Videos on YouTube, which we can repurpose for more Instagram posts and more Facebook posts. Uh, and also have a podcast that's focused on the community of Yuma. So I think those are the platforms we're really targeting: Instagram, Facebook. I'm going to start YouTube, podcast, and I want to do TikTok for the site because I see like using TikTok personally. I don't know how many of you guys follow me on there. It's amazing, like the growth that you can get on TikTok for your brand. So if we made something just about Yuma on TikTok, I think it would do well. And again, it has to be independent of me. I don't mind helping out here and there, creating some of the content, but there's no way I'm gonna just me by myself with everything else I have going on do that properly alone. So it's gonna be me and four other people doing this stuff, in addition to them doing regular research stuff too, like entering data and filling out IRB applications and all that kind of stuff. I think MAs and lab techs are such an untapped human resource. Ellen, absolutely. I wish, like, that's one of the main reasons I'm on TikTok. MAs and CNAs and RNs and lab techs and farm techs. That seems to be my biggest market on TikTok. So I'm going after them. Like, hey, did you guys know that you can do clinical research? Like there's whole multi-billion-dollar industry here, and it's often less stressful than what you're currently doing. See, I love when people are networking in the comments. This is what it's all about, guys. Lisa says, "Hey, Alan, sure. Any thoughts for people who have experience with human subjects research in the context of a neuroscience psych lab where you deal with IRB documentation without it being a clinical trial? Try to transfer internally, and then if that doesn't work, externally." Hey Dan, just found your channel 2 days ago. Thank you. Welcome. And have been really diving in depth with all the clinical trial content you post. Thank you. I am thankful for you, Gian. This may be off topic, but wondering if you have experienced an increase in subject no-shows since COVID. No, we haven't had. I want to be careful to not say no-shows. And I think I can actually say that in the year that we've actually been seeing patients, we have not had a single no-show. Like, yeah, we've had people reschedule, but they always tell us in advance. Like, this community was really hungry for these opportunities. And the PI that I partner with, he really has the trust of his patients. So we are considered like an extension of him. It's one of the advantages of partnering with a PI like that. So no, we haven't. I've been noticing an uptake in people getting sick lately, myself included. Um, I have a feeling it was RSV, but no, thankfully not. Gian said, I just finished updating my resume to tailor for clinical research coordinator and was wondering if you do a resume review. I don't. I only do it for, I don't even do it for our students. We have a program for our students of the CRA or CRC Academy via Ashley Margot, and there's a team of people working with her on that. But Gian, if you reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'll look at it for free and give you advice. Ellen's advice to Lisa for academic is you're already there. You're only missing the component is the intervention part and perhaps the labs. Like Dan said, try to transition to another department. Yeah, I think that's the right strategy. Dan, for remote studies, Reddit has been very successful. You're gonna have to let me know more about this. I know nothing about what's going on with Reddit and research and remote studies, but that sounds interesting. I'm working as a clinical research coordinator, want a site owned in the future, want to know about how SMOs get studies from where. So before you start thinking about an SMO, just think about starting one site. And SMOs really fall out of favor. And like it's kind of a negative now to say, hey, I'm an SMO. Nobody really positions themselves that way, even if they are. So my advice, start with one site, learn the basics, and then just duplicate that in other geographic areas or in other therapeutic areas. I've been a CRC for 3 months. Goals to be a CRA within a few years. What's your advice? Network with Julie. Thank you. And by the way, thank you for watching on Facebook. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know what, like, I should ring a bell or something every time somebody from Facebook comes on. Thank you. Um, so, CRC for 3 months. Goal is to be a CRA in a few years. What's your advice? My first advice is wait a few more months to see if that's still your goal. Second advice, network with every CRA that comes to your office. Just network with them. Tell them your goals. Just casual. Don't get in trouble at your work, but if when appropriate, there's always room for small talk. Tell them your goal. My goal is to be a CRA. Do you have any advice for me? Um, Connect with them on LinkedIn as well. Connect with other CRAs on LinkedIn. Join the local chapter of your ACRP and SOCRA chapters and network with other CRAs there. And then just learn everything you can. I mean, this is common sense here, but really learn how to be a really good CRC and learn what it takes to keep your monitor happy. And you'll also learn what their pain points are and just figure out the best CRAs are former CRCs, in my opinion. So there's definitely room for you. There's the blueprint has already been laid out by others. That's my advice. Ellen, we like I've if I have to be thankful for anything this year, it's that. Besides health, it's that. Like this site's going so much better than I thought. I've completed and it's so much more work than I thought too. Even though I already have 2 employees, I'm about to hire a third. I still spent the entire day at the office today. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do phone calls. I couldn't do like any of my guru stuff. I I had to wake up like at 6 to do a video for YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. Hey boss, I've completed my oncology CRA and general CRA. How can I get the next position like in-house CRA? Just apply. Apply a network. And maybe consider other roles too, like study startup specialist, feasibility analyst, anything you can to get in a CRO organization because they're the ones that primarily hire CRAs. All right. Any more questions, guys? I'm taking proof how long I've been live. This person I'm texting just thinks I'm ignoring them. But I'm not. I'm like, hey, I can't read your text if I'm live. Man, it's a good excuse though. If you want to not read someone's text, just say, hey, I went live on LinkedIn. In-house CRA, yes, Hamid. Any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, look, you guys, I'm going to go inside. The questions were good today. The engagement was good, considering it's the evening before a holiday, major holiday here in the United States when most people checked out of work like early today. I just wanted to get this last live stream in. But thank you guys. Oh, my book. Yes. I'm working on my next book. And I've been so busy I haven't like it's been delayed. All right, but I'm in the learning phase. I'm I'm in the process of planning my next book about the most important therapeutic indications as they pertain to clinical research. So it's going to be like a mini crash course on those therapeutic conditions, like the most important things you need to know to talk the talk, I guess, either as a CRC or a CRA in those indications. So most common medications, most common assessments, most common side effects, mechanism of action for the latest wave of research, and then it's going to have to entail a little crash course on biochemistry, pharmacology. I'm trying to keep it simple, but also like it, comprehensive enough to be dangerous. Kind of like my book now, The Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research. Like I didn't want to go in depth on any one topic, but I wanted to just show you what you need to know so you could dig deeper in each of those areas on your own. I want to do something similar with therapeutic indications. All right, we got more questions. I got a few more minutes. I graduated from a BSN RN but can't pass my NCLEX. I want my CRA. Do you think I should still follow with my RN? I think if your goal is to be a CRA and you're already a CRC, you don't need the RN. If you personally want to get the RN because you want to get it, then get it. But if you think it's going to help you become a CRA, you're already on track to be a CRA without it, with or without it. Will it help you a little bit? Yeah, maybe it'll cut 3 to 6 months off of your time to become a CRA. From India, consuming content, thank you. Speaking of CRA Academy, is this only for people based in the US? No. We're worldwide, CRA CRC Academy. It's all remote. It's remote monitoring visit on an oncology trial. We have students from Canada, Latin America, Asia, India, Africa, Europe, Australia. We have all continents. Internship is remote. It's the best. Like, I know the competition. The fact that we are a real CRO with a real study, and we're the next wave of projects and innovation, we're integration and innovation we're going to bring to this academy. I'm very bullish on it. So yeah, you can be anywhere. How to get studies? Clinicaltrials.gov. That's and good luck because you're gonna have to. I have like hours of content on this. Ellen says, try to pass the RN. It will give you an advantage in the future should CRA doesn't work out. You are so close, don't give up. Yeah, it's really up to you and what your immediate goals are and what your long goals are. Are you going to make 4-hour crash course YouTube video? New book like old book? Not yet. We wrote that one in 2019, and I mean, yeah, you can argue, okay, the world's completely different since 2019 because of the pandemic and all that, but is research really that different than back then? I mean, we're still doing in-person monitoring visits. We're still doing in-person patient visits. Maybe there's just more telephone visits for patients, but the fundamentals haven't changed enough for me to rewrite that one yet. I think in a decade, maybe, but not right now. Message me on LinkedIn. All right, please do. Does the Academy offer in-person experience for students? No. Yes and no. The default is no. The correct, more nuanced answer is yes if we have a site in your area. We will try to make those connections for you. Because we have about 80 clients, meaning other sites, that hire us to help them get studies and do their budgets and everything else. And they're always looking, the industry is booming, so they're always looking for help, just like I am, around the office. Hello, Dan. I really appreciate your work. Is the Site Owner Academy still available? It is renamed to the Clinicians Academy, and it's on theuniversityofclinicalresearch.com. Theuniversityofclinicalresearch.com. It's called the Clinicians Academy. So once you're on theuniversityofclinicalresearch.com, you'll find the College of Clinical Research Clinicians. It's basically the Site Owner Academy. It's just slightly tweaked for clinicians, but we have many non-clinicians in it too. Thank you, Lisa, for the book. Monica, hola. See, I'm over here promoting the CRC Academy, CRA Academy, the stuff we're going to do to integrate the two. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Monica. Grateful, thankful for you being a part of all the stuff we do. Hey, Dan, are there any regulatory affairs courses that are offered by a uni, a full-time course? Not that I know of. Don't give me more ideas. Don't give Monica more ideas. Monica, did you see this comment? See, I know how Monica is. She's going to take your question and run with it. I don't think there are, though. All right, that's it, guys. I got to go. Everybody, thank you so much for watching and tuning in on basically a non work night. It means a lot to me that you support, you follow, you comment, you engage, you're helping others in the process. Thank you guys so much. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for Viva, the sponsor. Everybody go check out Site Vault. It's free, no commitment, no contract needed. Only good can happen when you digitize your investigator site file. And welcome to the new decade of digitization. But in all seriousness, thank you, Viva. Thank you, everybody. Really means a lot to me. Have a good Thanksgiving to my American followers and to everyone else. Have a happy Thursday. Catch y'all later. Bye bye.